Hey everybody, steveo here for Movies and TVs on the Ball and Quack Quack Quack. It has been. I was gonna do this back in 2022, but it is been 33 years since the release of the Mighty Ducks, and I have done a video. I was gonna do a video if you saw my preview video on talking about the Mighty Ducks movie. Way back when, on one of my shorts, I kind of was talking about that I was going to review all three Mighty Ducks films because of the release of the Mighty Ducks television series Game Changer, or Mighty Ducks Game Changer, the television series on Disney Plus. So I kind of wanted to give this, my look at the Mighty Ducks films, the first Mighty Duck film. Now, the Mighty Ducks film starred Emilio Estevez, who you know from The Breakfast Club, and he's pretty much known for this role. If you're a '90s kid like me, you probably go, "That's Gordon Bombay" in any film you've seen him in, and like he's been in. He was in Mighty Ducks 1, 2, and 3. He showed up in Mighty Ducks Game Changer as well, and I think he's a really good character. You also have Joshua Jackson, who plays the main, what's Josh Charlie, and this was his kind of, I think, first role. You know him from Dawson's Creek, and he was also in Ocean's. He did a cameo in Ocean's 11. You also had, but that's kind of mainly the two guys. The Mighty Ducks films, from this is more of a video on Delightful Disney talking about the Mighty Ducks films in general, because it kind of works pretty much. I watched this when I was a kid, and then I knew more about the sequel, like D2, where they went to it was the USA team when they versed Iceland, and then I remember D3 when they go to high school in prep school. But this one was um, a film. This one was had a little bit more depth to it, because in Mighty Ducks 1, Gordon Bombay is this high priced lawyer who kind of, he says at the beginning of the film, "Ain't no," and then he talks to his boss, Mr. Ducksworth, played by the guy who played the president in X-Men 3. So that's kind of what's like, I know I've seen that face, and there he is, and he ends up winning the case, and then to celebrate, he ends up drinking and driving and getting a DUI. So instead of going to jail, he ends up. His boss tells him that to avoid jail time, you'll have to do like 500 hours of community service doing Pee Wee hockey, and he does. He still is on the payroll, and he gets, oh, it's not bad, he gets a limousine that picks him up, and so he goes to, these kids are playing on the ice rink, and as they're playing on the ice rink, they he's driving the limousine. He drives it onto the ice, and he introduces himself, and we kind of can tell that Bombay doesn't want to be here, and he's kind of doing it for a court order, and so Bombay doesn't want to be here, so he brings out this, like, and we see he brings out this car, this paper, and reads off their names, and these kids are kind of completely scared, and we kind of understand these kids are more mischief kids. We see, Charlie's kind of the ringleader. We see them kind of get into kind of shenanigans where I think they try to get a dog, play a prank on some guy. Is the first time we see these kids, and so they're kind of the usual misfits. But I think it works because I think the characters of the kids are pretty good. You had, and they some of them showed back up. You have Emerson who did the hey bada 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 swing bada 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 swing, and um, you had Goldberg who played the goalie, and then I think you had, and then and then Charlie is the one that really sort of, um, those three I think are really the ones that kind of continued on into the trilogy, but they're misfits kids. So Gordon Bombay gets a limousine service. He drives it onto the ice, and these kids show up, and they think he's a drug dealer, and so he brings out the list of their names, and we can kind of tell it is that kind of heartwarming, um, kind of he kind of learns to love the game of hockey and learns to love the kids. But then you had, and I have discussed on my Superman, Lois and Clark: The Adventures of Superman, the guy that played Perry White in that show plays kind of the um, uh, evil, the kind of villain. There's the Hawks team, that's sort of the rival team of the Mighty Ducks, and he's played by, I think it's Lance Smith, who played Perry White in The Adventures of Superman. He's Coach Riley, and he basically says to the kids that, or he is actually Bombay's old coach, and when he was a kid, Gordon was supposed to shoot the winning shot, and he rims it, and I think part of him is having kind of difficulty accepting that. So when they play their first game, it's against the Hawks, and there's that animosity between Gordon and Coach Riley, and how the kids aren't really a team, and he's kind of got to um, and he ends up doing it, and he ends up getting them to go from junior 3A junior league base hockey team to the Ducks that are sponsored by his law firm. And it is that sort of film that I feel like works. I think this one works in sort of a very much of a, guy doesn't want to be here, learns to love the game, and I think and learns to love the kids, and it really works. I think I like the dynamic between them. It works very well. I like this film. I think this is one of those films where I feel like the first one really is a really good, Bad News Bears kind of feel to it, but I think it works out really well with it. But I think what makes it great is I think Gordon, yeah, where Gordon Bombay is more, I think, because of Emilio Estevez and Gordon Bombay's characterization really works. I think makes him a decent character and decent coach, and he ends up sort of becoming more of a stronger person in that, more of a stronger character. He builds up his character because it's really more focused on, and the kids are more of the, fun-loving kids. And then you have Charlie is really trying to get Gordon kind of hooked up with his mom, and it works out pretty well because I think that's the real dynamic. Because I think Charlie sees Gordon as a father figure. So I like it. I think it works pretty good. I like the characters. I think there's a really good scene where they end up playing they end up going to the Dallas Stars game, and you know Bombay knows a couple of the Dallas Stars players. I think it works out pretty great. I give it probably on a nostalgia level 8 out of 10. But I think watching it on a more of a now looking at it without nostalgia goggles, I think it works pretty good for a rags to riches kind of, or not rags to riches, but kind of coach that doesn't really like kids to kind of really, it works in that sense. But I think what makes it work is Emilio Estevez, Bombay, and I think Joshua Jackson's Charlie. That really makes this a really good cult 90s films. Let me know in the comments below what your thoughts are on the Mighty Ducks. Did you grow up with it? Did you like the trilogy? Which one was your favorite one out of the top three? My next video will probably be on Mighty Ducks 2, just because I thought I'll probably tackle that down and maybe tackle the first couple episodes of Mighty Ducks, the Mighty Ducks Game Changer, which is a pretty decent show from what I've seen. I've watched a couple episodes of that. But let me know what your thoughts on the Mighty Ducks. I'm Steve, as from Movies and TVs on the Ball, and quack, 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 quack. Peace. And if you like what you see, please like and subscribe. Please comment below if there's anything you want me to cover. And have a great day.